How do kids process trauma after a major storm? A special camp aimed at helping them do just that recently got a trial run in Seminole County and will return if there's a hurricane this season. It's the only partnership between Project Camp and a county in Florida right now. As part of our series Central Florida Seen and Heard Rising Water, Danielle Prieur has more.
A pilot program for a new summer camp debuted this March at the YMCA in Oviedo. On the last day, kids decorated paper birds and built boats out of recycled materials.
No, it's sinking. It's sinking.
The camp might sound like any other, but it's not. At this camp, the first of its kind in Central Florida, all the campers were Hurricane Ian survivors, and they all experienced major damage to their homes. Fifth grader Zamyrah says she was terrified.
Our backyard got flooded, and 10 feet tall tree fell on a RV, but it didn't hurt anybody, thank goodness. And our pool was high.
Zamyrah's mom, Chala, also recounts that tree falling on their neighbor's home. By the way, the tree was closer to 20 feet tall.
And I look over and I'm watching the tree fall onto her house, and I'm yelling for her, Mindy, are you okay?
Chala says if Ian was scary for her, she can only imagine the impact on Zamyrah. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, primary school-age kids are at the highest risk for mental health problems after a storm. That can look like trouble sleeping or eating. It can also present as depression, anxiety, and PTSD. Project Camp runs the programs across the country. Henry Meyer is with the organization. He says early intervention is key.
And we have a program that really helps them kind of process through play, process with their peers, through each other. Kids process these events very differently than adults do. And they need that kind of safe, welcoming space.
Seminole County Emergency Manager Alan Harris says he sees what happens to young people who can't get the help they need after a storm.
They can cope with it through alcohol and addiction issues. They can cope with it medically, physically, feeling the effects of these. And we've seen this disaster after disaster after disaster.
Compare that, Harris says, to just a week at camp.
Coming in a little bit scared on Monday, leaving on Friday with laughter and joy. That's what I want after a disaster.
The difference, says Rollins College psychology professor Sharon Carnahan, who specializes in childhood development, is that kids who are given a space to talk about their feelings and learn how to process them are more resilient.
Children make up their own understandings of what they're seeing around them, and those may be much scarier than the reality. Children may feel responsible for some of the things they see.
Christy Hoffman of the Central Florida YMCA will run the program this season. She says kids and their mental health after a storm should be a priority for every county.
But this camp specifically is designed very much for kids. It's for them. And so they feel like they are important. They feel like they matter. And that's something that they can take with them long after this camp is over.
Back at the Y, fifth grader Zamyrah says she's excited for the next group of kids to experience the camp, although she's not particularly hoping for another hurricane.
I would tell them it's a really good experience, and I would probably tell them it's, oh my goodness, you would have a great time. I got to meet a lot of friends, and you will too.
The cost of the camps will be covered by the American Red Cross, Seminole County, and YMCA. Families will find out about the camp if they use a county-run shelter. Danielle Prieur, Central Florida Public Media.